technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio Hotline at 336-831-0864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Duck's going to pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. He's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Duarte pulls up, 3-ball. Bang!
LJ Figueroa!
Oregon goes back-to-back for the fourth time in the last 6 years. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley 3. Goal! Foley ball. 3 is good. Diarra-Savali. Wing. Pow-pow. Yeah, boom, boom.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
What a weekend.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and what a weekend it was. God, it was great to be back at Autzen, but it sucked that nobody else could be in there. You know, as I'm sitting here going on the air, I'm thinking like, God, it was great to see Jerry and Jorgie again. It was awesome to be sitting in the stadium and watching the spring game, but then I'm immediately just going like, I cannot wait until the fall, and I just hope that everything gets back to normal. All right. I'm gonna get off my emotional soapbox here. I think that I just expressed how everybody felt who was at the game. I think I just expressed how Scott Phillips felt. Also, Scott Phillips, I'm just gonna warn everybody today that tomorrow is Star Wars Day for those of you nerds out there, and Scott and I will be rejoicing, and I will be giving Scott a lot of grief for a few different things, so you can look forward to that tomorrow.
Yes.
Unfortunately
and fortunately.
Yes. So the spring game was a lot of fun. I love the fact that Coach Cristobal, even with like 2 minutes left on the clock, just decided that the 2-point conversion was going to be the end of the game. It just made it feel awesome. And look, it was fun because the Ducks do that at practice, right? Like they'll make different adjustments. Coach throws different adversities against them. Is that the right way to say that? He throws different Now I've got myself all tied up. He throws a lot of different things at them, though, to keep them on their toes, is what I'm trying to say. And so, I thought that it was cool for fans to kind of see the way that would work in a spring game setting. It was kind of a cool blend yesterday. It feels like it was only yesterday. It was kind of a cool blend on Saturday afternoon, seeing, like, this is how a controlled scrimmage practice works. But also, it still had kind of a game feeling with the Ducks doing the offense versus defense. And, man, awesome to hear Jerry and Jorgie back in the booth together again. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I think that one thing that really stuck out to me, I saw tons of people asking, why are there jets flying overhead in the Springfield area? Well, that was because there was an F-15 flyover, and God, it was awesome. So, true story. This is a true story. My wife and I live in the Thurston area, and she was outside, actually, just hanging out, and looks up and goes, God, what? Oh, and so she knows, right? Like, she was like, oh, it's the spring game, honoring the military, doing a really cool flyover. A lot of our neighbors, though, were like, what is going on? Like, what is in the air right now? What's happening? And I have never heard Mike Jorgensen sound more like a kid than when those F-15s flew over, and he just went, oh, that was awesome. And then Jerry Allen, oh, that was awesome. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, if you didn't hear us on the broadcast, you missed out on some real Jerry and Jorgie really showing their inner child, which anybody that knows those guys even remotely, and those of you who have listened on the radio for years, trust me, you know them. Like, that is them. They are that way. They are just children at heart, and they totally were in that moment. Jerry said that they're not supposed to hit the afterburners over downtown, but they totally did. And it was great. So, all of those things, I bring all that up because there was so much, for lack of a better phrase, like big event feeling, yet I was sitting in section, I actually don't even know. I think it's section 29. I'm so bad at that in our venues. I really need to be better about this. I think it's section 29 is right at the 50-yard line. Is that right, Scott? Yeah, so section 29, I was in row 18, seat 12, like sitting at the 50. Whoever has those seats, great seats, by the way, just awesome seats. So that's where I was sitting for the majority of the game, watching the spring game unfold. And the whole time I'm looking around as my chest is thumping and, like, literally my seat is shaking because the brand new scoreboard and sound system are just, like, face melting awesome. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I sitting in this seat? And I'm thinking to myself, God, I wish more people could have been in the stadium to hear those afterburners. And, you know, look, people like me, people like Jerry, people like Jorgie, people like Terry, Rob Mosley, everyone else, Scott, our job is to convey to those of you who can't be there what's happening. But it just felt more amplified on Saturday that it was in anticipating that we were going to have fans. Then we didn't have fans. And, you know, say what you will about all the different things going on in the world, but look, this is the world that we're living in, and I just hope that the world that we're living in doesn't mean that everyone has to be listening to the TV guys. Jordan and Coach Aliotti doing a great job on the TV side. And then, of course, our radio broadcast. I just hope that we are in a spot where there are 50,000 plus people in Autzen. Make it 60,000 in Autzen Stadium. And I just hope that we are there because there was so much lacking in these big event moments. And I just felt like something was missing. And I think that the guys on the field felt that a little bit too. Now, that being said, it still was a practice and it still was an audition for so many of these young players that I thought really made some big impacts. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal here coming up. And I think that it's funny the way that the spring game always overlaps, it feels like, with the NFL draft. And it was awesome to just be sitting there following along with the NFL draft. Mitchell Lee's back in the studio for us for the football broadcast, just like he is here for Duck Insider in the OSN studio. And Mitchell was watching the draft, keeping us up to date. And it felt, apart from not having fans, it felt like the big event that the spring game is supposed to feel like. You know, Don Essa gets up there and goes, and, you know, hey, Brady Breeze just selected. Like, that's what it's all about. And it's not that games in the fall didn't feel that way, but I don't know. Like, something felt different with the spring game. Maybe it was the play on the field. Maybe it's that we're so excited for football again. Maybe it's that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't know the answer to that question. But what I do know is that there were a lot of good things that happened on the field, and I just really, really hope that more people can see this team and see all of the other teams around Oregon and beyond in person again, because it felt special, but it still wasn't special enough on Saturday. That's how it felt. I do want to answer a couple questions before we dive into some of the breakdown of the spring game and some of the highlights. We have tons of interviews for you, by the way. I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. We could spend the entire hour airing post-game interviews with Mario Cristobal and the student athletes, and we would not be able to fit them into the hour today, even if I didn't give you any context or anything. We could not fit them all. So we will do that throughout the course of this week. We'll do a little bit of spring game recap, probably even until Friday, as Mike Jorgensen's going to join us later this week as well. So we'll do that. But a couple of things that I want to get to before we break down the spring game. One, a couple questions have come in on the comment section. I really do try my best to answer all of your comments and questions, even if I can't get to them day of. I will often spend the breaks sending text to people within the athletic department who know a heck of a lot more than I do about these different topics. One that we've gotten a couple times is about streams for track and field. All right, so this Friday coming up, and we're going to talk a little bit of track and field coming up as the Ducks were in competition in two different places this weekend. This Friday coming up, there is a runner space stream A lot of people have been asking, will it be free? Will we have to pay? I understand that it is a paid stream for this Friday. That is the latest info that I have for you here on Monday as of 1:09 p.m. So there you go. That's my first question. Also, Tobiah asked us, hey, what exactly is the timeline on the assistant coaches, and like, have they been officially announced and everything? Well, we told you that Jackie Naird Harrison was coming back to the University of Oregon to be an assistant coach last week with Kelly Graves. And now we've got another former Duck coming back. This is such a cool story. Former Oregon men's basketball standout Mike Mosher has joined the Oregon women's program as an assistant coach. Announcement coming today. Mosher, of course, starred for Dana Altman on the Oregon men's team 2013 to 2014 as a graduate transfer. He is a Portland native, has been working in player development and analytics for the Dallas Mavericks since August of 2019, while also serving as an international scouting consultant and personal basketball trainer. Coach Graves said, quote, "We are thrilled to bring Mike back to Eugene as part of our coaching staff." Man, I just pausing on Coach Graves' comment. I just love this. This is such a cool deal. Mike Mosher, just an awesome, awesome guy. He came to Oregon in 2013-14. He earned his undergraduate degree at UNLV, led the Ducks to the second round of the NCAA tournament, was just an awesome, awesome player. Mosher said, quote, "Being from Oregon and having played for the Ducks, the University of Oregon is truly a special place. My family and I are thrilled to have the opportunity to work with such an outstanding program. I believe in Coach Graves' vision and the values he and his staff have established that have made Oregon women's basketball so successful. I look forward to meeting the team, and I know that together we are going to build cohesion and grow off of last season's success." What an awesome thing. What an awesome thing for Mike Mosher to be coming back. So, hey, this is really cool, and I actually am really looking forward to introducing everybody to the new coaches on both the women's and the men's side, because we've got a few to introduce you to. It's been a while, actually, since on both men's and women's staffs that we've had some turnover. So we're going to talk with all of those different assistant coaches. And Mike Mosher, welcome back. That's such a cool connection. Such a cool connection. Jeffrey asking a question that I have asked or answered probably at least once a day over the last few weeks. He asked, why are you wearing a mask? For those of you that are watching the show live in the 1 o'clock hour, we are following the University of Oregon guidelines because, hey, Scott Phillips is here in the same room that does not have any ventilation. As you can see, we are in a dark cave with no windows. Although, well, that's actually the darkest corner where you're looking at us from now. There's a TV up there, which is kind of deceptive. That's actually the darkest corner. But, yeah, no windows, no ventilation, and so we are following all the guidelines, and here we are. Someday I don't think I'm going to answer that question anymore, but we do still get that question time to time. Spring game. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal coming up in just a moment. I thought that the offense started really fast. You know, look, Anthony Brown comes out and just leads them to a touchdown drive, and it's like, yeah, I think Anthony Brown's pretty darn good. But then, talk about the offense starting fast. Jay Butterfield comes out. All he does is go 4 for 4 and leads a second scoring drive. Not to mention the fact that they threw it to a left tackle. Mike Jorgensen said, as that was happening with the throw to Kingsley Suamataia, that, that had to be a tribute to Penei Sewell. It was so cool to see. Travis Dye did some good things. Henry Cattleman hit a 52-yarder in this game. It was amazing. Henry Cattleman, the cattle monster, as they call him. Talk about special teams making an impact. Yeah. Well, the offense owned the first half. I think it's safe to say that the defense owned the second half of the spring game. But it all came down to the 2-minute drill after. And also, I thought Aaron Smith, walk-on running back, he really ran well. Just a solid player for the Ducks. Well, Robbie Ashford, two-sport star, center fielder for the baseball team. Well, he goes and takes it to the pylon and scores. So, I mean, what a cool deal. What an awesome deal in the spring game, and Jerry had a great call of it.
Ashford with Smith to his left, trips out to the right. Ashford with a snap, back, pressured, rolls to his right. He can take it in himself, and he will. Did he get there? Did he get there? Yes, he did! Reached the ball out and hit the pylon as he was flying out of bounds.
What a play.
Yeah, he did it.
What an awesome moment, though. So here's how we set that up for you, right? I mean, Jerry and Jorgie are on the call. I'm sitting down there in the stands. I don't remember where I was at this point to watch it. But, you know, Coach Cristobal has the offense as the defense comes back. with the way the scoring worked, it was traditional scoring for the offense, not traditional scoring for the defense. Well, so it's a 2-minute drill. Offense was down 34-27, and it was basically, all right, Ashford and the offense, go win the game. Well, he did. Drove them down. Aaron Smith ran the ball well. The twos, for the most part, man, they did some good things down the stretch. It was cool to see. So Coach Cristobal, even though there's like 2 minutes left on the clock at this point, he says, no, this is going to be the last play. All right, so the offense scores a touchdown. That was the 2-point conversion to get the quote-unquote win for the offense. And Robbie Ashford does it in dramatic fashion. Now, as Mike Jorgensen went on to say on the broadcast, if this was a real game, there's probably a replay review. I think he was in, right? I think we can all agree he was in. That was cool, man. It was a cool blend of like, this is how a practice works with Coach Cristobal throwing different things at him and saying, this is going to be the last play. So I guess technically you could say the offense won. We're going to talk about that coming up. A couple things that stood out to me, and we're going to hear from a number of student athletes as we recap the spring game and then look ahead to the fall here. I thought the depth at tight end was really on display. You know, that's a group, Bobby Williams, tight ends coach, said it on Friday, that they had like 2 healthy guys in the room most of last fall. Well, then you have Spencer Webb, Patrick Herbert, Maliki Monteval, Terrence Ferguson, like all these different guys that are doing big things. And I thought the depth at tight end looked really, really good. A lot of weapons. Wide receiver group might be the deepest we've seen in a while. Ducks are still a little thin at running back. They've had some injuries there with Sean Dollars and Trey Benson. Again, though, I thought Aaron Smith, the walk-on out of the San Jose area, went to Archbishop Mini High School. I thought that he did some good things. Kind of showed, why Travis Dye had some positive things to say about him earlier. Also, Justin High from Maryland. That's cool. Maryland tuning in. All right. International brand. Is Maryland national brand? God, I thought about making a joke out of that, and I really had to stop myself mid-sentence. Hey, Justin, though, thanks for tuning in. And I think that the quarterback competition is legit. I actually, I know a lot of people are like, well, come on, it's going to be Anthony Brown and everyone else. I mean, look, right now, I think it is. It's Anthony Brown's team because he has the experience. He did make mistakes. He was solid. But, man, look at what Robbie Ashford did. Look how good Ty Thompson looked at times. Jay Butterfield went 4 for 4 on that opening drive. I mean, I look at that across the board, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of legit competition at that quarterback position. I think there's a lot of good things. We'll go through some of the stats. I want to let you listen in on what Mario Cristobal had to say because at the end of the day, I know and I believe that no one cares a lick what I think. Let's hear from the head coach. We're going to do that when we come back. It is Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. More from the Country Financial Studios. We'll hear from the head coach next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
On March 5th, 2021, we lost a larger-than-life member of the Oregon Ducks family. Chris Bjork passed away surrounded by his wife Allison and their 3 sons, Anders, Henry, and Jordy. After spending more than 26 years working with the University of Oregon, we are proud to establish the Chris Bjork Scholarship Fund in his honor. Go to goducks.com/Bjork Scholarship. That's goducks.com/Bjork Scholarship to make a contribution and help us remember a great Duck.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Today's show brought to you by Crumble Cookies. A new location coming to the Roseburg area. We understand it's going to be off Mulholland Drive coming this month, we think. I think I'm allowed to say that. If I'm not, Matt Stern, don't check my email for a while, I guess. Sorry, Matt. God, they're good cookies, though. Up to 150 flavors now. I haven't tried the churro one yet, but I really want to.
I finally finished my birthday box.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So Scott Phillips' birthday was, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And you just now finished the box of 8 cookies?
It was so good.
I mean, guys, you got to understand, the cookies are as big as when you make the O.
Yeah, they're gigantic.
Like, when you make your O, that's how big these things are. These are huge cookies. They're like almost as big as my face. Yeah. The quarterback room is absolutely loaded. I agree with what Randy just said. Jesse with a good point. I thought Thompson looked like he had the most zip on the ball. Thompson's arm is just legit. I mean, look, Coach Cristobal said it. Hey, he's a 5-star coming in. They thought that he was the best quarterback in the country. He was supposed to be in high school right now. I mean, I think that there's such a high ceiling for this group. Such a high ceiling. Mario Cristobal, what do you think the first question that Coach Cristobal got asked was? Well, let's find out. The head coach meets with the media after the spring game on Saturday.
Really excited about our progress, knowing that we still have a long ways to go, but certainly pleased with the fact that there was added talent that added to the competition at just about every position on the football field, that our veteran players got to have a really successful spring where we advanced in several different areas of our football team, and that we got to have an entire spring, right? Probably the part that stands out the most. But that being said, questions.
What are your thoughts on the quarterbacks? They were each productive, each topped 100 yards passing, efficient. None of them had any interceptions. Just your thoughts on each of the quarterbacks.
Well, you know, we gave them the opportunities today, and they certainly took advantage of it. I thought Anthony did a really good job being efficient with the ball, making good decisions, and being accurate. Thought the pocket got pressed a couple times, and I know that was first play or second play of the game. He came out of there and made something happen with his legs as well. So he keeps his eyes down the field. He has really good pocket presence, and that did a really good job. I thought Ty Thompson and Jay Butterfield, as well as Robbie, they all got a chance to move the ball, and they all did, and made big plays and made big throws, respectively. You know, and some of the boot and wag game, as well as some of the drop back game, some of the RPO stuff as well. I thought those guys really just took command at the line of scrimmage and have made this a really, really good battle, you know, at the 2 spot right now. We think Anthony is the one, you know, he's the one that's leading, but we're not going to let that die. We're going to keep that engaged and rolling as we head into the summer. But that battle for the 2 spot is really tight. And it was good to see those guys each have their moments today, mostly positive.
Defensively, Mario, obviously Justin played quite a lot.
Yeah, we've been increasing his numbers, his reps over the last, I would say, 6 practices. And the last 2, he's felt really good, and he's wanted more reps. It's awesome to see him out there. That guy's explosive, brings a ton of energy, and makes a ton of plays. And he showed it today. So he's going to be a great football player. I know everyone's been really anxious and eager to see him play. To see him out there with his guys today in Autzen Stadium and making plays like he did was truly awesome.
Yeah, Coach, I was going to ask what you made of the young receivers. Obviously, we spoke all camp about the talent there, but just play after play after play, including the last one there to Dante. It just seems like this group has a ton of talent, and this guy's really, really high.
They really are. They really are. And I think it's important to point out a couple guys as well, guys that have been here for a little bit but are finally getting their chance. I thought Isaiah Crocker did a really good job. I thought, you know, Chach Delgado did a really good job. Chris Hudson made some really big plays, made some people miss. The new arrivals, both Dante and Troy, yeah, they stood out a bunch because those are big, long, fast guys that can stretch the field, can also get in and out of their stuff quickly and run the intermediate stuff well. And, they get the ball in their hands, they can make people miss and make them pay. So I thought those guys did really well. I thought the tight ends did a great job today, all of them, starting with Spencer and Patrick, man, those guys came out and right away made an impact. And then both Terrence and Maliki, they didn't look like they were freshmen. They didn't look out of place. Feel really good about the advancement of our skill positions. I love the fact that guys like Johnny Johnson has done such a great job of leading these younger guys on how to do things. It's great to see Micah Pittman out there healthy. The list goes on and on, but they're really pleased with the progress of that particular position as well as the tight ends.
Mario, I'll ask about the cattle monster. How much confidence does that give you with your kicking game to have a guy, make a 52-yard kick in a setting like this?
Yeah, I actually just met with a cattle monster. That's what had me delayed coming down here. That's a great name. What a great football name that is. Well, him and the guy's a competitor, and he just wants to get better. He is really hard on himself. And I told him the same I'm telling everybody. The competition's alive, brother. Do not go gentle into that good night. It's going to be on, and it's going to be on strong. And I spoke with Cam just now as well. And Cam did a really good job. He's had a really good spring, not only getting great lift on the ball and being accurate, he's also booming the ball on kickoff. So, but yeah, Cattle Monster and Cam, great dudes. Cattle Monster is one of a kind name, that's for sure.
Mario, where do you feel like offensively and then also defensively those units made the biggest leaps this spring over 15 practices?
Yeah, I think with having Coach Moorhead here for the time he's been here and being able to open up the playbook and put it all together, like it all makes sense now. Before I felt like was being put together in pieces and getting ready for a truncated season, and that was difficult. I think by the time this thing came around, you had your camp, you had your season, then you had your fourth quarter program, then you had spring ball. You're able to install everything for a second time this week. It feels like, it feels like it's ours. It feels like we own the playbook now. So that really stands out. And, we were very vanilla today on defense for a reason. The last 2 days at practice, we had talked about how earlier in the spring, the offense came out swinging. It's been a lot of back and forth, but these last 2 days of practice for us, the defense has shown some really high level play, disruption, forcing turnovers. So I think it speaks volumes for a couple of coordinators and their coaches that have really invested in the players, and even more loudly about the players and the amount of time that they've invested to really not just know what they're doing, but know how to do it, why we're doing it that way, know what the guy next to him is doing. You could tell in the execution today, it was clean, it was vanilla, but it was still clean execution. And that being said, we got miles and miles and miles to go.
You just talked about like wanting to keep that quarterback competition going, but just realistically, like how much ground would have to be covered by one of the younger guys over this, like just improvement over the summer to make it to push Anthony in the fall?
I think you push everybody. Don't put a cap on it and don't try to regulate in any way, put a governor on it. Just let it go. Who knows the kind of jump you take, right? A lot of these guys didn't play their last year and then had a very shortened season, last year. So really proud of the way that Anthony is running the offense. So you can't take anything away from that. But there's not in this program, there's just no room for relaxed time. It's not going to make anybody better. Handing and just saying, hey, you're good to go is not going to enhance the competitive character of our football team. So we're going to turn it up, and we're going to turn it up on everybody, and we expect to get really good results from that.
A lot more to come from the Oregon football head coach Mario Cristobal, recapping the spring game, looking ahead to the fall a little bit, talking about the competition. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer and Student Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Coming up, let's hear more from him postgame after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Freedom, Toyota hybrids say, let's go, faster and further, with 10 hybrid models to choose from and tons of top tech. The best part? Every Toyota hybrid offers an extended hybrid battery warranty for 10 years or 150,000 miles. So let's go places. Toyota hybrids.
For Toyota hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and fuel cell and battery electric vehicles beginning with model year 2020. The hybrid HV battery is covered for 10 years from original date of first use or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. Coverage is subject to terms and conditions of your new vehicle limited warranty. See owner's warranty and maintenance guide for details.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio, where today's show is brought to you by North Fork Public House. Open for takeout, NorthForkEugene.com. Let's hear a little bit more from the Oregon football head coach as Mario Cristobal continued to break down the spring game from this Saturday.
Yeah, Coach, back to the quarterbacks again. On the surface, it looks like you've got 4 winners. And it seems like you have a tough job keeping them, getting the big perspective of, how long it can be with this group without getting antsy and moving on. I think of the end of the 2014 and 15 season, the bowl game where Oregon got beat by third-string quarterbacks. It's Oregon State in 16, they got beat by third-string quarterbacks. Wonder if that kind of would help them see that, you have to be patient.
There's no doubt, especially in this day and age with the way that things are, with the transfer portal accessibility to instant eligibility. It has to be a matter of what does that person want it to look like at the end, right? You always got to ask yourself to do what I'm doing now and how I'm going to invest and completely devote my time and commit myself to doing something. How do I want it to end? We've got an unbelievable university and program. The future here, the trajectory here is like very few places, if any. You got to ask yourself if you want to be in that type of a competitive environment and be a major part of that. You wouldn't be brought here if we didn't think you had the capabilities to do so. So we're fair. We're we are honest to a T because it's what everyone deserves. And like I mentioned to them today, as we left the field, we mentioned, hey, by the way, both Thomas Graham and Brady Breeze just got drafted and they were going bananas. They were going nuts. And then we put in perspective for them. They're about to enter a room. Let's say when they go into camp, they're going to walk in there. There's going to be maybe 6 safeties. They're going to keep 4, maybe 3, right? Well, if you don't truly learn how to compete at this level, how are you going to make it on that level, right? Because here you still get your stipend, you still get your meal the next day, your scholarship is still good, you still go to class the next day. At that level, you get your pink slip or whatever they hand you when it's time to go. So everything we're doing now is part of the process to prepare them for us and success here, and eventually moving on in life and doing the other stuff. So I think all those things have to be taken account. I don't mean to have a long-winded answer, but you really got to look at this from a big picture standpoint. I think if guys get short-sighted, I think if they don't see some of the great examples out there that show that football is a development sport, then you got to keep doing what you got to do on your side also as a head coach and make sure the pieces are in place for the program to continue to have success.
Mario, you were down a couple or multiple corners. Was wondering what you thought of Dante and Jalen stepping in there with the first team and getting all the run out there.
Oh, they've been getting a lot of work now. When guys aren't available, that's a track meet out there for those guys, especially with some of those rocket ships we have at wide receiver now. Proud of those guys. They got a ton of reps, and Jalen, he got here mid-year, is really developed physically and mentally. He's going to be a really good player. Dante missed almost the entire season, right? Dealing with something that wasn't major, but still was nagging enough to hold him out, to keep him out. And the fact that those two guys are out there repping and they've had some unbelievable moments in spring. Really proud of them. Those guys are going to be great players for us.
Mario, your freshman receivers, they each had pretty productive days, late touchdown there. In particular, as much as we talked about the young corners, just getting a ton of reps. Your young receivers get a ton of reps and have some production. What do you see from each of them?
They're going to make an impact. I think we all see that. It's sometimes guys, they just pop, right? You don't even have to say it. Those guys are special. They're recruited for a reason. And we've got a room with some other really good receivers also that have been developed under Coach McClendon, who is a guy that has done a great job. Really has done a phenomenal job with our players from a development and a discipline standpoint. His impact is being felt, and he keeps that room on the edge of its seat, on their toes all the time. And that's one of the biggest reasons. That type of accountability and competition has made all those guys better. Those young guys walked into a really great situation in terms of coaching, in terms of development and competition. They showed up big today. They're going to earn themselves some time.
Bobby Ashford, obviously, it's been very busy this spring, playing two sports. Was it nice to see it come down to his athleticism on the last play?
How about that, huh? And you all probably thought I was like Vince McMahon trying to orchestrate that stuff, man. That happened on its own completely. Scored a touchdown and going for two at the end. Yeah, that was really good to see. The only thing is obviously you don't want to make those reps live so that defense is trying to figure out whether to sack him, tag him or not. So that's the part that might skew it a little bit, but all in all, really, really pleased with Robbie just coming, being able to do all that stuff. Also to bolster his GPA like he did. Really proud of the fact that he attacked his academic work as hard as he did the football and the baseball stuff. So really good spring for Robbie.
Mario, this year's draft class had 5 guys get drafted. That brings your total to 13 since you've been here at Oregon as head coach. Just your overall thoughts on just the progression of this program and the NFL players it's producing.
Well, I think it's a collective effort. Everybody, we really take a lot of pride in that. Yeah, you're upping the talent level. That's coming in, but you're also just pouring yourself into player development. It's showing up, and it's showing up big. Some of these guys are top 10 picks. That trend I think is only going to get stronger. I think we all see that. We've got some. I think what was it, 80 freshmen? Is that a true stat? 80 freshmen, sophomore, something like that. There's a ton. I don't know how many it is, but it's a ton. It's just getting started. That's the best way I could put it. No need to, for us to brag about it or whatnot. It's taking care of itself, but even bigger days are coming down the road.
Coach, spring is a time for growth in a bunch of different areas, whether it be, team chemistry, your culture, or, growing in the weight room. How are you going to take the momentum that you guys built here in spring and carry that into fall camp?
Well, there's not much rest. These guys got a couple days just to get their bodies back a little bit. We lifted hard during spring ball. We have our approach is one day on with practice, full throttle, and the next day it's lifting, it's walkthrough, it's meeting time, and then we come back at night and then we install for the next day. It's a really high progression, development, and learning cycle that we use for spring ball. Great cycle, love it. And so after a couple of days next week, they'll come in and we'll really get these guys. We'll screen them functionally from a functional strength standpoint, mobility standpoint as well. we'll put them through a series of movements that we're going to be doing in the weight room from a strength and conditioning standpoint, so that they understand these movements, so we could go to them quickly and efficiently. And within 7 days, it's back to our off-season program, with our lifting, our running, conditioning, meetings, walkthroughs, skill development, all that stuff. And we'll have approximately 4.5 weeks with those guys before they have their finals week, and then their 1 week break in between quarters before they come back for 5 weeks before we start fall camp. So we're like in cycles of 4 and 5 week with almost 7 in the winter portion. And that's how we space it out with the discretionary week and all that other stuff.
After last year, when you guys had to do the draft day car caravan for Justin and that sort of thing, what did it mean to you guys this year to be able to spend that day with the Sewell family on Thursday?
Man, that was awesome. I mean, gosh, we talked about, I remember sitting in his house, and it wasn't, we're very straight when we recruit. Like, we tell a guy, hey, this is what we see as a future for you. But I just remember sitting in that house. I remember sitting in that house and talking about that. This day was coming, and it was it's going to get here sooner than later. So to see that family erupt with joy, emotion, the place he's going to, knowing the kind of head coach that Dan Campbell is, I mean, he's right up our alley, man. Physical toughness, doing things the right way, demanding. It's validation, right? Your word kept, promises kept, coming through and doing it, not just saying it, not just proclaiming. That's what we love about it. It's just super happy. More to come, man. Just getting started.
Well, that's a good way to end your press conference, huh? Might be the last we hear from Coach Cristobal for a little while, as the Ducks will now get into that offseason and, summer conditioning program ramping up toward a fall camp, and then September 4th can't get here quick enough, can it? Fresno State's going to be in town. God, I hope it's a full Otts Stadium. I hope it's a full Otts Stadium. I hope it's a full Otts Stadium. Coming up next. Hey, we haven't yet gone through all the details on all those drafted Ducks. You heard Coach talking about them a little bit. Let's do that when we come back. Some impressive numbers to run through on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor-charged characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, Fish Dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. We heard Mario Cristobal talking about how they're just getting started. Well, we already went through the numbers for Penei Sewell. Ducks getting a first-rounder in the top 10 again with Penei Sewell going to the Detroit Lions. Congratulations, Penei. And then Javon Holland, man. Safety Javon Holland became the second Duck off the board in the 2021 NFL Draft. He went to the Miami Dolphins. 36th overall selection. I think Javon is going to be really, 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 really good in the NFL. He fits so many different needs for NFL teams. Can return punts. He can play on special teams. And, you know, he can play a lot of different positions. He's played safety. He's played nickel. He can play corner if he had to. I think that he's going to be very, very good. The 8th defensive back in program history to be drafted in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. And the first since T.J. Ward went 38th overall to Cleveland in 2010. The number 36 overall is the 6th highest an Oregon defensive back has ever been taken. Remember, he's from Canada and follows, of course, left tackle Penei Sewell, who was drafted earlier. And, you know, I think as I think back on the career of Javon Holland, we had him on the Coaches Show at the Pepsi Player Spotlight a few times, and God, he was always fun. Wishing him nothing but the best, as with him getting selected, this is the first time since 2015 that 2 Oregon players have been drafted in the first 2 rounds of the same NFL draft, and the 7th time since 2000. Next up was Diamador Lenore, Didi Lenore, going to the Niners. Oh, growing up as a 49ers fan, I am stoked about that. Selected by the Niners with the number 172 overall pick in the 5th round of the NFL draft, and Lenore becomes the first true cornerback drafted out of Oregon since Ifo Ekpe-Olumu went number 241 in 2015, and the highest drafted cornerback since Walter Thurman went number 111 in 2010. Next up was Brady Breeze. This was cool to see. Brady Breeze with the number 215 pick in the NFL draft in the 6th round to the Tennessee Titans. Breeze, of course, the 4th guy off the board, and it marks the 3rd straight year that at least 4 Oregon players were picked in the NFL draft, with Brady Breeze getting picked. Next up was Thomas Graham, as the Chicago Bears made Oregon cornerback Thomas Graham Jr. the final pick of the 6th round with the 228th selection. Graham, the 5th Duck taken, and this marks the first time since 2015 that Oregon has had 5 or more players selected in the same NFL draft. That was cool to see. So that leaves you Holland, Lenore, Breeze, Sewell in the 1st round, and Graham. 5 guys. And of all of those guys, did you pick up on something there, that it was Javon Holland, Diamador Lenore, Brady Breeze, Thomas Graham? First time in program history that 4 defensive backs were drafted in the same year. Graham and Lenore mark the first time that 2 Oregon players listed as cornerbacks were taken in the same NFL draft. So I just want to think about that for just 1 second. All right, everybody? The entire Oregon secondary got drafted for the most part. All right? Like, you saw a safety, and even though I know Javon moved up, played nickel, and 2 cornerbacks that all got drafted, and only one of those guys played last year with the opt-outs due to COVID. So, I'm sorry, how good was Oregon? And the fact that the Ducks did what they did on the field without all of those guys who just got drafted into the NFL, what a special group, and wishing those guys nothing but the best. Elsewhere, Hunter Kampmoyer signing with the Chargers, wishing him nothing but the best, hoping that now some of these guys that actually get the opportunity, when you're in one of those late rounds, I think sometimes there's benefits to maybe being a free agent. You can kind of pick where you want to go. Austin Faliu going to the Cowboys. Best of luck, Austin. And Jordan Scott to the Vikings. I think he's going to be looking to prove a lot of people wrong. Can only imagine what Jordan Scott is going to do. All right, so in 2018, 44 recruits. This is a great stat from Mose. 44 recruits from the ESPN 300 signed with Pac-12 schools. 5 of them entered the draft after 3 years, and 4 were selected. Half of those were from Oregon, with Penei Sewell and Javon Holland. The others went number 112 and 180 overall, and 1 undrafted. So let's unpack that a little bit further, okay? So 5 of the guys that were in that 2018 class from the Pac-12 that were ranked in the ESPN 300, 5 of those guys entered the draft after 3 years. 4 of them were selected. 2 of them were from Oregon. Does that tell you just how good this recruiting class was and how good it has been? Amazing. Amazing. Pac-12 draft picks from the last 2 years now. This is going to be a little Oregon humble brag for you. Let's just go from the bottom up, all right? So Pac-12 draft picks in the last 2 years. There's been one from Washington State. The Sports Pac-12 Twitter account pointed this out. It was great stuff. There's been 2 from Arizona, 3 from Arizona State, 4 from both Colorado and Cal, 5 from UCLA, 5 from Oregon State, 6 from Washington, 7 from Utah, 7 from USC, 7 from Stanford, 9 from Oregon. 9 Pac-12 draft picks that have come from the University of Oregon in the last 2 years. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. So cool. So cool. We still got your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. We are also going to hear from the quarterback, Anthony Brown. We've got that for you coming up next as we continue to talk a little spring game, a little draft, and God, congratulations to all the Ducks. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace. Learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, I said that we were going to hear from Anthony Brown. I'm realizing now that Brown actually, I mislabeled how long he talked with the media for, and we're going to save Anthony Brown for tomorrow. I told you we have so many things to get through, so many interviews. We'll save Anthony Brown for tomorrow. The Oregon quarterback, we'll get to him then. Because your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, I do want to talk about everything else that happened over this past weekend. Oregon track and field team recorded 6 personal bests and 4 top 3 finishes, including a win on Friday. That was up in Corvallis. For the 3rd time this year, Kiana Phelps won the discus, while Austin Tharp finished 2nd overall. First among collegians, though, as it was a not just college meet on Friday. And then with members of the team competing in 2 locations, the Oregon track and field team combined for 5 wins, including a pair of top 3 national performances on Saturday. Ducks had sprinters at the Desert Heat Classic in Tucson, Arizona, with the throws and multis groups at the OSU High Performance in Corvallis, Oregon. Full details, of course, on GoDucks.com. Our ace track and field sports information director, Zach Lawson, broke it all down for you. But those are the highlights. And now we get ready for the Oregon Twilight. Oh, one of the best. And you know what? How many great sunset shots have we all seen from the Oregon Twilight? I know that's part of why it's called what it's called, but it's just, you just think about it, it's always around this time of year, and it's just this beautiful scenic setting in Eugene with this orange, glowing, partly cloudy sky. I mean, it's just, now with the new Hayward Field, it's just a whole nother level. Oregon baseball this weekend, jumped on the Cougars early with 5 in the third, dominated start to finish for a 13-0 win on Friday. 3 straight games scoring double-digit runs at that point. Robert Ahlstrom was so good. Just a couple numbers for you. He went 7, gave up 6 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. His whip on the season now, walks, hits, innings pitched, is right at 1. That's really low. His average with 2 outs against him, his batting average against with 2 outs is about .075. Dude just gets up in the big moments. Damn. Now, on Saturday, it was a rough game, though. Cougars gave the Ducks a dose of their own medicine in a double-digit scoring affair for the Cougars themselves. And on Sunday, Ducks squandered some early opportunities, break the game open, and it felt like that was the difference because Oregon State rallied for an 11-6 win. That won the series. Only the second series that the Ducks have lost this season. Oregon now sitting at 27-11, 11-17 in Pac-12 play. Felt like they could have won that series, and I think Coach Wasikowski a little disappointed. They were supposed to play a game today against Gonzaga. Issues within the Gonzaga program due to COVID. Hoping that the midweek games that are scheduled for next week between Oregon and Gonzaga can still go forward. We'll find out. What it all means is that Oregon baseball now has a few days to, well, frankly, bounce back because they got the Huskies in town and they need to win some games against Washington if they want to keep pace in the Pac-12 standings. Similar story for Oregon softball. They won a gritty game in extras on Friday. Got out to a 4-0 lead, then Arizona State struck back, talking too fast, take a 5-4 lead. Ducks tied it at 5, ultimately won 6-5 and 9. Just a gritty performance. Allie Bunker was great. McKenna Thermos and Reagan Breedlove were both awesome in relief. But on Saturday, the Ducks dropped both ends of the doubleheader to number 12 Arizona State. So the number 8 Ducks needed a bounce back on Sunday, and what do you know? Oregon jumped out to an early lead, just like Oregon baseball, hitting a pair of second-inning homers, but they couldn't hang on. It was a 9-6 loss to Arizona State in the series finale on Sunday. So Melissa Lombardi will join us on the show tomorrow. Her team currently sitting at 31-13, 9-9 in Pac-12 play for the Ducks. And with a matchup with Arizona coming up, well, the Ducks have some work to do. They have some work to do because Jane Sanders Stadium has been selected to be one of the potential sites for regionals. Ducks need to win some games down the stretch to make sure that they're going to be hosting at Jane Sanders Stadium. That's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next gathering or meeting. Menus at cafeyum.com. Your Women in Flight update of the week. I forgot to mention earlier, Mike Mosher, of course, being named today as one of the assistant coaches for Oregon women's basketball. Welcome back to the Ducks, Mike Mosher. He was a standout for Oregon men's basketball, has since played professionally, worked for the Dallas Mavericks, and now is moving over to the coaching side with Kelly Graves, and I am stoked for him. Your Women in Flight update of the week is brought to you by the Duck Store, a proud supporter of Women in Flight. So what's coming up this week? Well, a lot of things. We're going to get into some postseason here for both golf teams and both tennis teams that we'll tell you about. I'm excited to say, too, that tomorrow Chief Compliance Officer Jody Sykes is going to join us. I always enjoy my conversations with Jody. I always learn something about the inner workings of college athletics. She's also the sports administrator for Oregon Women's Golf. That team has given us so much to talk about. They've been a top 15 team, not like national. I was about to say not just in the Pac-12, but, well, of course they'd be top 15 in the Pac-12, Joey. Yeah, they're really good. And they've got a pro duck who just qualified for the U.S. Women's Open. And they've got an assistant coach in Monica Vaughn who just qualified for the U.S. Women's Open. Coach Vaughn and Kathleen Scavo both qualifying. And so we're going to talk with Jody tomorrow. And I figured, well, normally we learn a lot about compliance. I'm going to learn a lot about women's golf tomorrow with Jody Sykes because they've got some great stories, man. What a show. So tons more spring game interviews. We got that for you tomorrow.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate